Hello, everybody. Welcome back. How's your Sunday going? Excited to be with you guys here for the penultimate day of our Pro Singer Career Accelerator Masterclass series. And I can see most of you, but I gotta adjust my screen here. Let me make sure I can see everybody. All right. So, honoring you guys for taking time on your Sunday, no matter where you are in the world. It might be evening if you're Eva, I think, right? I think Eva's in Europe. If you're a West Coaster, it's earlier in the day. So, honoring you for taking the time out of your Sunday to get skills and tools that are going to really move the needle for you as you move forward into 2025 with your singing. So, how great was yesterday, guys? Listening to Amy speak about her experience going past the stinking thinking, the limiting beliefs, the old stories, the things that had been holding her back in her mindset, in her sound, even to just taking the, as she called it, leap of faith to being the change that she wanted to see and just deciding that she wasn't going to accept anything less. I mean, it's so powerful when you see other people who were, I mean, I know for me, when I've seen other people who have been in the same muck that I've been in, and I'm like, wait a second. Okay, if they can fight for what they want and they're in perhaps even more challenges than I am, then I have like literally no excuse, right? I mean, it's so interesting. Um, and also, who who played with the making a song your own worksheet yesterday? So, it's a process, right? It's a process of like starting to understand what you can connect to in the story of the song you're singing and not just like surface level, right? Because when we just surface level it, we miss out on a whole lot of that energy that connects to the audience because we're actually connected to it in a totally different way. So, really looking at your songs and creating a story, creating a scenario, creating an emotional home, an emotional connection that only you have to that song, to that, if it's a character, if it's in a musical, or if even you're a singer-songwriter, even if you wrote the song. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've worked with singers who are working on their own original songs, and you're like, wait, you wrote this? How are you not connecting to this? Sometimes we sing something so many times and we wrote it and we've like disconnected from it. So it's really important work to not just be on autopilot when you sing, both in your skill set, in your body, as we've been talking about at the beginning of the week, but also in your storytelling. So, for those of you who played with the Making a Song Your Own worksheet, how was it? Tell me in the chat. Did anything resonate with you? Did you find some new connections to things that maybe you hadn't done before? Did you take yourself through the inquiry in a kind of fun and new way? Spend the time, guys. Spend the time. It makes a huge difference. Okay, so a reminder of our housekeeping. Put your questions in the chat or save them for tomorrow. You guys, tomorrow our whole day is Q&A. So any questions, all questions that you have had throughout the course of the workshop, if I have not been able to answer them, we have two ways. If you want to go into the Facebook group and make sure that I'm going to have time to answer your question, go in the Facebook group and there's a post that says questions for the Q&A and put your questions in the comments to that post. If you do that, you can be sure that I will get to your questions. Otherwise, you can show up and you can just raise your hand. And if we have time to get to those as well, then we absolutely will. Okay. A reminder, this is the safe space. Please uphold that value of encouraging vulnerability and bravery and the ability to fall down, fall flat on your face, be honest, make a bad sound, and know that you will be celebrated for it. Zero tolerance for any criticism, judgment in the chat. Okay, you guys ready to do this today? Because we're going to deep dive today. So, we're going to really get into the relationship of mindset and performance and mindset and career today. And we also have our expert mindset coach, Judy, in the house. Judy works one-on-one with all our singers in our intensive training programs, helping them to master their mindset. Hi, Judy. Oh, you got to unmute.
Yep. Hello.
Hi. We got some good mind reads today, I think. So I'm really excited for you to be here and bring some of your light and your mojo to this group. And so Judy and I are going to get into it in a bit with you guys. But first, I would like permission to lovingly hardcore you guys a little bit today. Do I have your permission to call it tight today? Tell me in the chat. Do Judy and I have permission to call it tight today? Let me know. Do I? I do? Yeah. Javon says okay. Marie says okay. Yeah. Nancy Rod. Okay. Okay. Because this is where I get to gently and lovingly kick your butt. Okay? Because what we're going to talk about today is something that I wish somebody had taught me as a young singer, because man, it would have saved me a lot of struggle. And so today we're going to talk about the biggest hurdle that pro singers face and how to get over it. So in my 25 years of being a professional singer and my many, many, many years of working with professional singers, I have noticed that the biggest hurdle that singers have to singing the way they want and breaking through to those bigger careers and bigger elite opportunities is actually not an external struggle that you are fighting outside yourself. It's not money, it's not time, it's not poor training, it's not a technique thing or any other external thing or struggle. It's actually an internal thing, which means, good news, that you can affect it and you can change it today. So let's unravel this. There's one major concept for today. So if you're following along in your masterclass workbook, this is the major concept for today, which is the biggest hurdle that pro singers face is fixed mindset instead of growth mindset. It affects your technique. It affects the actions that you take in your career. It affects your impact. It affects everything that you want. The biggest hurdle, fixed mindset instead of growth mindset. So most of you are acting from who you are now, who you've always been, instead of acting from who you want to be and making decisions from who you want to be, who you get to be. And it really stunts your growth because you don't take actions of who you want to be. You take actions of who you've always been, and then you get what you've always gotten, and things stay fixed. And this can show up, for example, in your technique, big time. So let's say that you're having trouble opening up consistency in the high parts of your voice, like in your high notes and in your higher part of your range. And you have to get opposition to work in your body to do that, as we've been talking about. But if you have fixed mindset, then high notes are hard. They've always been hard. They've never been my bread and butter. Other people can do them. That's not my voice. That's not what my jam is. That's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. Fixed mindset. You want something different, but what you believe is possible has set up a giant resistance to that, which makes what you want nearly impossible to achieve. Even though you want to open up your high voice, your body will not go as far as you need to go in your opposition because the resistance that fixed mindset creates is just way too powerful. And so you're singing from who you've always been instead of who you get to be, who you want to be, who you could be in that moment. And so who you've always been, it doesn't believe it's possible. It doesn't believe you can really do it. So you will self-protect and your body will not go for the full opposition that it needs to get those high notes, and your voice will stay stuck in the way that it's always been. And it reinforces the fixed mindset that it's always been hard. It's not for me. This is how it's always been. And this is, an example of how it shows up in your technique, but it also shows up in the ways you act or not on your own behalf with what you want. It's impossible to make a really good living and a full-time living as a singer. I'll be in poverty. I will lose my my income. I will whatever, right? Fixed mindset. It's what I've always thought. It's how hard it's always been. It's how it's always been. It's never, and it does the same thing. It sets up a resistance. because you're acting from who you've been rather than who you get to be and what you could believe instead. So it's about balancing your desire and your belief. Because if you desire something that you fundamentally doubt, there's no balance going on. And so if you desire something that you're frustrated with, annoyed with because it hasn't come yet, there's also no balance in that. So the attraction that you want and the attraction that you're about is like lopsided because it's not working well for you because there's no balance in that. Only half of it is there. You want it, but you don't believe it. You want those high notes, easy, comfortable, consistent, but you don't really believe that that's your voice, that you can do it, that that's for you. You want a full-time career where you can make 100,000 or more a year singing and doing what you love, but you fundamentally don't believe that that's possible for you. You want it, but you don't believe it. There's no balance. And so if you want something that you fundamentally don't believe, you're calling it in and you're pushing it away at the same time. And that's what causes stress. It's what causes tension. It's what blocks your essence from showing up in performance. And it is what sabotages your impact. And remember what we said on day one. Impact equals income. If you want to do this professionally and you want to get those higher level opportunities and gigs, you got to learn how to make a bigger impact. But if you're calling it in and pushing it away at the same time, you want something you don't believe, that's just that tension, that essence gets blocked by the stress and tension, and now your impact is sabotaged. And so it's about how to balance your desire and your belief so there's no gap. But sometimes it's like you have your armor up, you have your shield up that keeps you from receiving the very thing you are asking for. And that shield that blocks you. And one of the forms that it comes in is fixed mindset. Because, and here's where I'm going to go all quantum woo-woo on you here, because this is real. I see it working either for or against my singers all the time. I see it either working for or against me in my life all the time, okay? But for some of you, this might be a little woo-woo. So just like, remember what we said, just empty your cup and like be willing to understand something a little differently, okay? See, you're here in this body, but you're not here only as you, as your physical body self. You're here not just as your physical instrument self. Your inner being, your energy, your source energy, call it whatever you want, soul, whatever, it goes by many names, is here, that source energy flowing to you and through you. And it is a big part of actualizing your intentions for this voice, this instrument too, because your physical instrument responds to it, right? I mean, that's what we've been seeing all week. Remember day one? Your voice is always responding to your energy. And so this inner energy, it has a point of attraction too. And while this energy can't like throw something to you, it cannot just insert something into your experience just when you ask for it. Your inner energy, your inner being, it can hold the knowing of what you're asking for in such clear awareness that your intention and point of attracting that becomes so much more vivid and more powerful because you have asked and you have set that intention. Do you get that? A lot of these beliefs, like what we were talking about when I was working with Heidi the other day, like I am a bold, badass singer. This is my time. That's a point of knowing. That's a point of clear awareness that becomes more powerful. She's setting that intention. Okay. So what that means is when you ask for something, it means that now you've set that intention. You've asked. And you want, in this example we were talking about high notes and high voice, you want powerful, glorious money notes that bring you a world-class career. And your inner essence, your inner energetic being is holding vibrational awareness of that, of what you want. And energy and quantum field is responding to the attraction that your inner energy has going on. Do you guys know, like, there's quantum view of the world versus Newtonian view of the world. So like back in the day, Sir Isaac Newton, right before Einstein and quantum physics, we had the Newtonian view of the world, which was that, so like Newton's sitting under the apple tree, the apple falls down, oh, he discovers gravity. It's like, ouch. Oh, Newtonian view of reality and Newtonian view of the world is that the external circumstances create the internal set of circumstances. And then 100 some odd years later, Einstein comes along, invents quantum physics, quantum view of the world, which is the exact opposite, which states that the internal quantum experience of, we're all just energy, right? So atoms are broken down into electrons, into neutrinos, into quarks, into energy at its basic form. And so the quantum view of the world is that the internal makeup and experience of something is what creates the external circumstance. It's the exact opposite, okay? So just get that, like, this is not me being all like, whatever, this is science, all right? So energy and quantum field is responding to your internal energy and your attraction that your inner energy has going on. Now, a really interesting thing is happening. Interesting because it's happening to you because you're summoning and your inner energetic being is summoning too. But you have your own free will, of your own free thoughts, and you can think thoughts that block what you really want if you choose to. And I know most of you would say, Arden, I would never do that. I would never do that. I would never think thoughts that block what I want, even though we do it every day. Because every subject is really two subjects. So sometimes you think you're thinking about the high notes you desire, when really you're focused on the lack of them. Or you think you're thinking about the performance opportunities you really want, but you're really focused on the absence of those opportunities. In other words, you're thinking thoughts that are vibrationally and energetically inconsistent, or vibrationally and energetically resistant to what you really want and what you have asked for and what is otherwise coming to you. And so fixed mindset is one of the main forms that this resistance takes, because those thoughts do not match the desire that you have. Your desire that you want powerful, easy money notes that you could sing for days is there, but fixed mindset says, high notes, they're hard. They've always been hard. They've never been my jam. Other people can do them. That's not my voice. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it's always going to be. Can't ever make a full-time living as a singer. If I did that, I would be in the poorhouse. I would never be able to support my family. That's just how it's always been. That's what it is. Other people could do it, but not me. That's the way it's always going to be. Fixed, okay? And when the thoughts do not match the desire, even though you want the high notes that are easy, even though you want the full-time singing career, that resistance makes it impossible to achieve what you want. But the flip side of this is that then your work actually becomes very simple. Your work is to invite the thoughts that match the desire, the intention, rather than thinking thoughts that match its absence. To say words that match the desire rather than its absence. Because I have seen, guys, over and over in my life with my singers. I mean, those of you who have worked with me, who are in this room right now, I know you can attest to this, that it is always true that when you ask, it is always given. When you ask, it is always given. The question is, when you ask and it is given, what are you doing about it? Are you receiving it? Or are you blocking it with your awareness of the current reality that doesn't contain it yet? That's what trips us up the most, Because we're focused on what we think is what is. And so if we ask for something that we think isn't yet, and our awareness is that it isn't rather than it is, as we focus upon the isn't-ness of what we know, and then we block it and we don't let it come because we're focused on the isn't. We're focused on the lack. It's scarcity, okay? And then we complain, this isn't working for me, when it is. It is always for better or for worse, you guys. You get what you think, for better or for worse. You get what you focus on, okay? Whether you want it or not. You strike a balance with things that you don't even want just by giving so much internal attention to them. And so this brings us back to growth mindset. With growth mindset, You're not focused on the isn't-ness. You step into the desire, into the beingness of your intention. And so who you want to be, whether it's fearless, curious, brave, abundant, fill in the blank, who do you want to be? In fact, tell me in the chat, you guys. Tell me in the chat right now, who do you want to be? Put the attributes in the chat right now. Claim it, plant your flag in it, and share it with your fellows in this group. For the universe, you're putting it out there right now. Who do you want to be? Put it in the chat. I see famous, badass. I see free. I see an inspiration. I see confident, powerful, connected. I see me. I see a star. I see unashamed, confident. I see who I'm created as. I see use of God. I see fearless. Yes, if you haven't put something in the chat, I'm challenging you to claim something in the chat. This is the moment, you guys. When is now the time to change? When is now the time to claim what you want? Don't be scared. Let yourself acknowledge these things that maybe have been there for a really long time, but just you haven't actually grabbed a hold of. Do that now. Who do you want to be? Yes, fierce, fearless, confident. Yes. Okay. And so part of this is not just setting that intention, right? But not blocking those things. So when you've cultivated a growth mindset, you step into who you get to be: confident, brave, unafraid, fearless, consistent, all those things. And you are intentional about it, about choosing beliefs and an emotional home which supports that. And then the thoughts start to match the desire. There's no more resistance. And then the actions you take are coming from that place. When you sing, your body responds to that version of you, and it becomes 10 times easier to step into your potential every single time and go as far as you need to go in your technique so that it works, so that the opposition works, so that the high notes are easy, to take those what I would call inspired risks in your career and actually go after the things that maybe would have been scary to you before and change your stars. Growth mindset, guys, it's all about taking contrary action. Seriously. Like if the voice in your head is screaming at you all the doubt, that's your inner critic. It's just trying to protect you. And in doing so, it will continue to keep you small and always drown out that other voice, the voice of who you could be, which is the voice of your awareness. If it's screaming at you, if it's really loud, it's not your awareness. It's your fear, your doubt, your inner critic. Guys, your awareness, it's that small voice of knowing within. Fixed mindset doesn't listen to it. Fixed mindset listens to the loud voice of doubt and inner critic and fear and anxiety, which is always trying to drown that small voice out. But growth mindset knows who you want to be, listens to that small voice, because that voice of awareness is who you want to be already. Most of you just don't listen to it. So the way you get over the biggest hurdle from fixed mindset to growth mindset is to learn to listen to your awareness, to take action from your awareness. It knows who you want to be and is continually trying to nudge you in that direction. Do not ignore it anymore. Pay attention to it and take action from it. It is the voice of your desire, of your intention, of your essence. It's the voice that knows that when you ask, it is always given. Go towards that little voice. Go towards the thing that scares you. Create beliefs and thoughts and an emotional home that match your desire instead of block it. And you know what, guys? You get to be a little scared and do it anyway. Whatever the it is. Even something like investing in yourself to work in our intensive training program. That can be really scary for some people. $7,000 on a credit card, like that can be scary. And even though You have launched that rocket of desire where your awareness is telling you, this feels so aligned. This is my tribe. This is what I want. If fixed mindset, meaning the old you that has created the situation that you're in with your career and your voice in the first place, if that old fixed mindset comes in with, that's crazy. I don't have that investment. I could never find that kind of investment. I don't come from that kind of money. And right there, you're acting from who you are now, who you've always been, the energy that has kept you small, instead of acting from who you want to be and making decisions from who you want to be. And then you don't take the actions of who you want to be. You take the actions of who you've always been, and then you get what you've always gotten, and things stay fixed. But if you follow your awareness and create beliefs that match your desire, there's always a way for the committed. It's just money. I can go out and find more. Abundance is my birthright. Living my dream is the best investment I can make. What's a couple $100 of interest now when I'm making $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 extra a month booking gigs that I didn't have before, right? Now your thoughts are matching your desire. And you get to be a little scared and do it anyway, because what's scarier? Investing 7K so that you can finally break through the blocks and break through and succeed in your singing in ways you never have for the next 10, 20, 30 years of your life? Or looking back a year from now, God forbid 5 years from now, and you're in the exact same place with the exact same frustration, the exact same sadness, or even shame of having a gift that you cannot live at the highest level. Because you're going to be scared anyway. So you might as well be scared and get what you want. Guys, regret is the most costly thing, which is why getting over this hurdle of fixed mindset to growth mindset is so important. Growth mindset requires you to go beyond your comfort zone. That is how we grow. It's called growing pains, guys, for a reason. It's not always easy or comfortable to grow. We're scared because we want certainty of the outcome. But your awareness will never, ever, ever lead you astray. It matches your thoughts with your desire. Aligning with your awareness means no regrets. Listen to your awareness. Take action from your awareness. It knows who you want to be and is continually trying to nudge you in that direction. Do not ignore it anymore. Do not resist it. Pay attention to it and take action from it. So, as we've been talking today, and as we were talking also the last few days, one of these things that, keeps us in fixed mindset instead of growth mindset are limiting beliefs, right? High notes are hard. It's just a limiting belief, right? So who here, I would love if you can see if you can identify and type into the chat some of your limiting beliefs that have been keeping you in fixed mindset. And type them into the chat. Again, we are like going deep today, and we are like airing it out here. We're just shedding layers of all the crap that's been holding you back, okay? So what are some of the limiting beliefs, or what, if you can identify, is a big limiting belief that has been keeping you in fixed mindset? And just type them into the chat. I see. Yes. Thank you, Javon and Kaylee and Jelana and Tracy. Guys, I know there's more than 5 people in this room. Yes. Thank you, Finn and Siobhan. Thank you, Jocelyn. Yes, Michael. Yes, Nancy. I see you guys. Yes, I'm not talented enough. Yes. I don't match up. Yes. These are limiting beliefs that keep you in fixed mindset. Yeah. Come on, you guys. There's more. I'm gonna nudge you. I'm gonna gently, remember I said I'm gonna gently hardcore you today. We're not moving on. Every one of you. What is it? Can you see a limiting belief that's been keeping you in fixed mindset? Money, time. I'm a terrible actor. Warren, I know you. You're not a terrible actor, but it doesn't matter what I think. If Warren has that belief, it is holding him back. Yes. Okay. So, what I would like to do is we're going to have some volunteers who would like some help shifting these limiting beliefs that are keeping them in fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And we're going to do some, what we call in our tribe, some hot seat coaching with Coach Judy right now. And we're just going to hot seat laser coach to shift these limiting beliefs from fixed mindset to growth mindset. So, of those of you who put stuff into the chat, I'm going to just pick some and call on you. And if you don't want to coach live, that's fine. You can tell me no. That's perfectly, that's a choice. But let's see. Let's coach on, oh my goodness. Okay. And so many of you have very similar ones. That's very interesting. Have you guys noticed that? Did you notice that as you were reading what everybody was typing into the chat? Like there are many of you who, and so I just want you to know um, you're not alone in these thoughts, in these limiting beliefs, you know? Okay. Let's see. I saw somebody put something in here about the the industry, and that was interesting to me. I think it was Jelana. Jelana, you said something about um your was it your age and the go ahead and unmute Jelana. You want some coaching on this? Where did you go? You were in the I just
There
saw
are
it.
several hands raised.
I know. Oh
Okay.
no, Jelana was I'm too old. Yeah, and that's like for sure. Because I think a lot of you feel that, right? So, Jelani, you willing to come on camera and have some hot seat coaching around the fixed mindset of I'm too old? I see you, but you're muted. Where did Jelana go?
Go. There we are. Hi.
There.
Hi.
It's raining
Is
finally in
it?
LA.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
All right, so this is Coach Judy, our amazing mindset coach. So Judy's just gonna take you through some laser hot seat coaching around this fixed mindset, this limiting belief. So I'm gonna just let Judy run with this.
Hi, Jelana. Thanks for being
Hi.
here today and being willing to have a little coaching. So you have a belief that you might be too old. Tell me
Yeah.
about that.
Well, I'm 60.
Okay.
And, I had in my prime, I was doing the Broadway shows and all that stuff. And, we all hit a certain age where the phone stops ringing, right? That's where I am.
Okay. I think that I heard the limiting belief already. We all get a certain age where the phone stops ringing.
Mm-hmm.
So can you find evidence of where people who are older than you, their phone is still ringing and they're still showing up, whether they're
So, I
actors or
mean, I
singers?
would assume, if you're a star like Patti LuPone or,
Sure.
anybody who's really had great success as a singer. That's not the case for them, of course, but I'm not that. I never have been.
Right. And so let's look at too, how are you defining success?
How do I define success? I think just being able to do what you want to do work wise. And
She's being able to do what you want to do work-wise?
yes, when you
Did you
want to
say
do
something
it.
else that looked like you froze?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I have bad cell service in this house, unfortunately.
That's
But
okay.
yeah, being able to do it, the work that you want to do
hmm
at the time you want to do it.
hmm And is now the time for you?
I think, there are goals that I have, and
Uh-huh.
I feel like I'm kind of stuck.
Okay. So tell
I'm
me what's
training.
happening causing the stuck feelings.
no opportunities. Mind you, I'm a SAG-AFTRA actor, and we've been on strike for, God knows how many months. And so that is part of the situation.
Okay.
But I haven't done musical theater since I finished Frozen right before COVID.
Hmm.
So that was my last gig, and I just don't really have any opportunities coming my way.
Hmm. And when you say that you don't have any opportunities coming your way, what are you doing to create opportunities? Because
Well,
that
I
fixed
signed with a new,
mindset,
yeah,
okay,
I signed with a new agent
okay,
last October, uh, uh, and a new manager, and nothing's really come through just yet.
okay. I
Yeah.
like that. Nothing's really come through just yet. So there is still hope. That's the growth mindset right there. So I want to point that out
Yeah.
to you. The growth
Yeah.
mindset still exists there. And yet I still feel that, or what I'm hearing is that fear that you're too old and that your time has already passed is probably overshadowing the
Mhm.
rest of
Yeah. Yeah.
it. And as I say that, what comes up for you?
No, I think that's the bare truth.
You
Yeah.
think that's the bare truth?
Hmm.
Yeah. What if you believed, what if you could let go of that idea and believed that you have just as much opportunity now? How
Hmm.
would you engage differently?
Um, I think, well, gosh, how would I engage differently? Of course, I would seize any opportunities that come my way. I mean, I did have four small auditions last week, but they're print, commercial, co-star, that kind of stuff. So that's a good thing. That helps, give me hope, I guess you would say.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so even though
But
they weren't ideal, it sounds like they're opportunities that there
correct,
is potential for, and you had auditions.
correct.
And what was
Yes.
really fun to see, did you notice when you started recognizing that those things are happening and that it is a little something?
It
Did
is
you
a
feel
little,
a little lighter as you talked about it?
yes, absolutely.
I thought
Absolutely.
I saw that. And so I just want to point that out because when we're in fixed mindset, we get a little bit more tensed. And then that's sabotaging our body as well as our mind. But when we begin to open up, okay, so what are the other possibilities? If we get in the place of
Well,
possibility versus impossibility, it
right.
changes.
Right. So I had an opportunity. I think I put this on the little video that I sent yesterday, but I had an opportunity a few years ago to audition for Madame Giry in Phantom of the Opera. Actually, I had two callbacks for that. So I didn't book it. A former Christine Daae did. So I get it. The show's closed. That's a done deal. I think the only other thing that I can really look forward to right now at this age is probably Madame Morrible in Wicked.
Can I pop
So
in here for a second? I
yeah,
gotta pop. I'm listening to you, Julie, Juliana, and like I really want to reflect back language. The only other thing that I have to look forward to is this one other role. And I'm just calling bullshit. Like complete bullshit, okay? Like there's like you could do the pilot and come from away. You could do who I'm talking the female
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean that's an amazing song. Like there's so many opportunities, but there's the I'm too old. We don't see these things. And we start to think, I mean, because guess what? If that's the only other opportunity that there is, when that opportunity does come, if it does come, it might only come once. And then how are you going to feel going to that audition? If this is the only other, I mean, you see where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
How are you going to feel going into that audition?
Stressed out, I think.
Yeah,
Probably going to sabotage myself in some way, shape, or form.
not probably, you will.
Yeah.
And I say that, just because that's what we do. But like that's what happened for Madame Giry. I'm sure of it.
Hmm.
Not the woman who got it was she didn't get it because she was Christine. She got it because she was able to show up in that moment in in that energy, in that impact, because she owned it and she claimed it. This is my last chance. This is the only one that I've got, and I got to prove myself. And you're good enough that it got you into the second callback, but it didn't get you the role.
Right.
Right. And
Right.
so, like, I'm wondering, I'm going to challenge you right now because I know you've been in the Broadway world for a long time, so you know a lot of different shows. Four roles, and you guys can help her in the chat. Four roles, and I'm only making you do four. I'm sure we could find 15. Four roles for women over 50. And you
Oh
guys can help
gosh,
her in the
of
chat.
course, Norma Desmond or
Yeah,
uh,
Sunset Boulevard.
uh, uh, what is it? The prom musical.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the character's name. Sorry,
Yes.
the
Yeah, it's
drowsy
okay.
chaperone character, old
Yes.
lady.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Wicked, Madame Marble.
Yes.
Uh,
I
uh,
see Leslie Stevens. I see you're still in this room. Put in the chat because I know you're
Hi,
in the
Leslie. I know you.
I know that. It's so funny. I was wondering if you guys knew each other, but but this is the thing because fixed mindset doesn't even have you making that list.
Yeah.
It's like there's one. There's Madame Marble. That's the only one that I can do. And like when we reflect it back, we can laugh at it, but this is killing you.
Grey Gardens.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Grey Gardens. Yes. Kimberly Akimbo. Yes. The aunt in Kimberly Akimbo is so fun. Like,
I
I
haven't
think
seen that.
honestly, I saw it and I was like, I don't get it. Why did it win 7 Tonys? But still, people love it and they do
Mhm,
it.
mhm.
So lots of opportunity. But to go back to what Judy was pointing out, your fixed mindset is not letting you see possibility.
Mhm.
It's not letting you see that. And so then when you do have an audition, if you think, oh my God, this is the only thing, then you show up with so much need to like force it and prove it and do it and whatever. And it shuts your technique down.
Yeah.
And then at the level that you're playing at, you're tapping into 80% of the potential instead of 100% of the potential, and somebody else is going to get that role.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, so Judy, I'm going to let you keep going to shift this with her, okay?
Yeah. Well, I'm just wondering if after all of that, Juliana, how much do you still believe you're too old?
I don't believe that anymore.
I was watching the shift as all this evidence was coming in as to why you're not too old and there's still plenty of opportunities. I saw you shifting already into possibility.
Cool.
And as you may have noticed, since you started out with, I'm just too old for this anymore, everybody's commenting on how young you look and how you could probably do much younger parts. And so again, it's a limiting belief that's
Mhm.
stopping you. So now what do you want to take as your new unlimited belief to use going forward?
Mhm. I guess it would be I can do anything I put my mind to.
Yes, because what happens when we put our mind to the thing we want?
The energy focuses on that in that direction.
Mhm.
Right.
And
I
my
think,
guess is that that's what got you where you are today, how you had performances before. Re-tap into that. She is still within you. So let's
Mhm.
talk about that for just a minute to just kind of seal the deal on this. Tell
Okay.
me who you were when you were booming in your career.
Um, I did my first Broadway show in 91, Will
Mhm.
Rogers Follies. I had the good fortune of auditioning for Tommy Tune, and I was perfect for the show. And
wait,
that's
wait, I want to pause you. I want to pause you. I want to pause you because these are fantastic like resume checks, but that's not what Judy's asking.
okay.
She's
Okay.
asking who you were being. What were your traits? Who were you being? What were your traits?
Oh, I see. I
How were
see what
you
you're saying.
showing up to yourself, to your
I think,
career, to your journey?
yeah, I think even though, I didn't get everything that I auditioned for, but
But we never do.
I got most of the dancer jobs that I auditioned for. When back in that day when I was in my prime and
Okay, wait, wait. No,
Going right
no,
back there.
as a dancer in
no,
my
no, 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 no. Okay, no. Because if she you guys if she continues to hold this belief that I have faded from my prime, that I am not in my prime, okay? You guys, there's many truths in any situation. And there's going to be people who probably want to argue with me on that, and that's fine. But what I have learned is that there are multiple truths. Is it true that maybe your body doesn't quite work the same way at 60 as it did when you were 25? Sure.
yeah,
Is it
I brought it.
also true? Is it also true that you could give a stunning performance and somebody might write Jelana Lawford is in her prime? That is
Yeah.
also true.
Yeah.
But again, fixed mindset, if you keep telling yourself that you're not in your prime anymore, how does that make you feel?
Right. Less
Right. And when you feel less than, then what?
diminished.
Yes. And when you feel diminished and less than, then what do you want to do? We tend to feel
Well, you
like,
want to get out of it. You want to release that and break free from that, of
right.
course.
And we tend to want to prove that we're not less anymore, that we're not, and all that proving, again, that tension, that stress, it comes from that proving because you've told yourself you're less, but you don't want to feel less, right? So you
Mhm.
guys, this is the, I'm so glad you said that. And I know it sucks, but like, but it's such a good example of like the language that we use to talk to ourselves, you guys, and the thoughts, like really witness what you're telling yourselves. So what do you want to believe and tell yourself? Like, because Judy was asking, who were you? How were you being? What were your traits when you
What were
were
you thinking? What was your
I
energy
think
of engagement?
my energy was I can do anything.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's all possibility, no impossibility, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
so
And
what
what if
could
you
you
did believe that now?
right?
What if you believed there's nothing but possibility?
That's a good feeling.
It's a great feeling. And
Yeah.
doesn't it make you want to get out there? See what
Yeah.
happens? Because you
Yeah.
are ever evolving, right? It
Yeah.
isn't that there was a prime and it's over. You get to be at a prime at this stage and then at a prime as you go this way. That's the thing. You can be in your prime in any age, any time, any weight, any size. It doesn't matter. We can be in our prime.
But it's a
The only thing
decision.
that limits us is our limiting thought. And it is a decision. And it just so really points out what Arden was talking about, where we have resistance to,
Hmm.
we have this natural tendency to want to look for the impossibility instead of really choosing the possibility. And
Hmm.
we've got that so deeply ingrained now with those limiting beliefs that it's going to have to be chiseled away, chiseled away, chiseled away, catching it, reframing it, catching it, reframing it, noticing it. And it's so natural, it's going to be really hard to notice, but that's the key.
And in truth, this is why meditation is such a huge part of this and piece of this, because it teaches us to detach from our thoughts so we can notice the thought. Like I've been doing this for a really long time, and so it's so even when I'm like looking at you and you said that word prime, not in my prime, and I'm like, oh no, 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 no. Because but I've learned to catch myself in that, right? And so you get to choose the truth that serves you. Somebody might say, yeah, my body doesn't move exactly the same way as I did when I was 20. Maybe my voice doesn't have exactly the same range as I did when I was 20. Is that true? Yeah. And is it also true that I've learned how to tap into the potential of my essence and the wisdom that I have at this age and give a knockout performance? Yeah, that's also true. So I'm going to focus on this because this is the truth that serves me, not that, you
Yeah.
know? Do you have any questions for Judy or for me around these ideas?
Not really. But thank you
Okay.
for asking.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thank you for
It's so
being,
awesome to see her beaming now, too.
no, it's true. It's true because you go into that, whatever these auditions are, and it is also like creating opportunity is also fun as well. Like I know as those of you who do Broadway, those of you who do opera, you have to audition and it can kind of feel like waiting for somebody to give you permission to like do your art, waiting for somebody to cast you, you know? But so many successful singers who are older have done really well doing like one woman show, cabaret, like making their own opportunity, telling their stories. One of
Mhm.
our singers who's in the program right now, those of you who are in my tribe may know her. She's 70. How old is Marilyn? 76? 70? She's in her mid 70s. She was really successful television and Broadway actress in her early 20s, had had like a lag in her career, and she's making a comeback. She's doing a one woman show. Like,
Cool.
and so it's like, it's not to say that you have to do that, but it's just like, let me be open to the possibility, like what Julie was saying. I mean,
Yeah.
what what Judy was saying. So
Yeah.
thank you
Thank
for
you.
being willing to piece that, to piece that out.
I kept
Um,
typing Can I pass? Can I
And
pass?
no, we're gonna hold you to the hot seat only because I saw so many that were like, I'm too old, I'm too old, I'm too old. And like, if you say you are, then you are. And
Yeah.
if you claim that this is the perfect time for me to be leaning into everything that I want to do right now, then you're not. But
Yeah.
you get to decide. You get to decide what you believe. So decide something that serves you, right?
Yeah. True.
Awesome. All right. So thank you, Judy, for that. That was really, really wonderful. Um, if we have time, we might be able to come back and have Judy do one more, but we have some other things that I want to be able to get to today because, um, you know, having somebody like Judy, having a mindset coach, having experts to be able to like mirror back these things, even as little as me being like, what, you're prime? No, no, like just those little things can be so groundbreaking and essential to move singers from fixed mindset to growth mindset, to teach you how to align with possibility instead of uncertainty. And so this is the kind of hot seat coaching that we do all the time with singers in our program. I mean, those of you who are here right now, there's a few of you who are in our tribe. And it's like having that mirror to just be like, oh my God, was I saying that to myself? Because once you see it and you're like, oh, yuck, I don't want to talk to myself that way. I don't want to engage with myself that way. And then you can see how it's been affecting you. And like, I see how many of you put in the chat that, Jelana looks so young and she looks so pretty and she looks so young. That may be true. And it doesn't matter. It's a mindset. She could look like however she wants to look, like, and so while it's great that you guys think she looks young, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's her energy. It's what she chooses to believe and to cultivate that will be the thing that draws people to her to cast her for these roles and to get these higher level opportunities back in her career. Yeah. Okay. So thank you again, Jelana, and thank you to Judy. That was a really great example of moving from fixed to growth mindset. I have another special guest today that I want you to meet who really understands and can share better than anyone her experience, what it's been like moving from fixed mindset to growth mindset, what it's been like getting out of her own way, claiming trust in her instrument, claiming confidence and power in her voice, and claiming the opportunities and the life that she wants from it. So she is an incredibly talented musical theater singer. She has just finished our intensive training program. So she's like, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks finished. And she's one of the most dedicated singers that I have ever worked with. I mean, she's just like in it to win it. She plays full out, gives 110%. But her past experiences with her voice were really preventing her from stepping into her potential, accessing her full potential. And it was keeping her on the bench. And she didn't believe what was possible and didn't trust her voice enough to go get it. And in just a few months of training in the program, she's completely transformed her sound, her confidence, and for the very first time, she is engaging with professional opportunities for her singing. So please welcome Darlene Harris. Hi, Darlene.
Hey Arden,
Hi, how's it going?
good. How are you?
Good. What was that like for you watching Judy hot seat coach, but for you not to have to be in the hot seat?
It was awesome being able to see the shifts. Like I love like the mindset stuff has really just been like game changing. And so being able to see other people have that experience is also really so cool.
Yeah. So would you share with everybody like what were the issues that were happening and how you were feeling with your voice and your singing before working this way?
Yeah, so I am a trained musical theater actor. And before I started this program, I was kind of like in a rut. I hadn't done singing lessons in a while. I wasn't sure where I fit, and I was not pleased with my voice or how I sounded. And I was um, not very confident, and I had like this mindset that to be a bit to make it on Broadway or to make it onto any regional stage, that I needed to have this big belty kind of voice. Um, where it seems to be like that's the standard, and I put that in quotation marks on purpose, right?
Because you know better now, but
I know better now. And so I was limiting myself without realizing it, like my own potential. Back in August, like July, August of last year, I finally was like, I need to get back into vocal lessons. I need to um, really start making headway to where I want to be, where what I want my life to look like. And I literally did a Google search on voice lessons, and Arden's page was one of the things that popped up, and it said mindset work. And I was like, huh, that actually, I could benefit from that. I was like, I'm sure that there are things that I am holding on to that are holding me back, and to be um, my full self and to put myself fully out there, I need to have a combination of the vocal and also the mindset work. So that was where I was back in August of last year. Um, and I had a call with Arden, and the best thing I did was tell her on that call, like, yes, I'm going to do this.
but I remember you were like a little bit like, yes, but I need, and I was like, and we happened to be having a workshop like this right
Yes,
around the same time, and I was like, come, right? And I feel like that's what happened. Yeah.
yes, yes. I came to the workshop right after, divine timing, and really knew that this is where I needed to be. And the last like 16 weeks of the intensive have completely changed my life, and completely changed my outlook on like my voice and my confidence and everything. So it's been
Can you
so,
speak
so
to what
great.
some of those specific changes in your outlook and in your ability have been for you?
Yeah. So one of the things have been confidence, like confidence in knowing that I can produce the sound that is needed, and being confident in my technique and knowing that that's going to carry me regardless, and not be so hyper fixed on it. I am a huge perfectionist. And so something
Wait,
that
wait. Who
I,
relates? Who
I
relates?
know a
Tell
lot
her
of
in the
people in this
chat.
room relate.
But
Uh,
how was that holding you back? How?
It was holding me back because I felt that everything had to be perfect in order for me to get to the next step. And so what that was doing was causing me to stress out, causing me to burn out, causing me to feel like, okay, if this is not 100% perfect, I am never going to get to that place that I want to be. And
Was it
complete,
also stopping you from putting yourself out there? Like, was it
yes,
like,
it was stopping me from auditioning, which I started doing again literally like a week or two after I started the intensive.
Mhm.
um Being having things perfect was stopping me from being the person I needed to be in order to get the opportunities that I was looking for. It was keeping me from continuously like moving forward, and it was keeping me stuck.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so
how many of you relate to that where it's like it never feels good enough, so you're forever getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready, and it's just this bar, and you never feel like you reach it, and because of that, you look and you see the audition, but you're like, oh, I'm not ready, and so you don't. Like, how often were you doing that, darling?
often. And I would even sit and look at an audition posting and be like, oh, I'm not right. I'm too fat, or like I'm too like this or that, or like I don't have the kind of voice that they're looking for. Like completely taking myself out of the running before I even put in the audition. It was like that insane.
But then how did you feel then about where you were and your life and what you were up to?
Yeah, then I felt like a failure, honestly. Um and it felt like I could never like get it right, and it felt like the dream that I had for my life was unattainable. Like no matter how many steps I would take, I was never going to get there. And then once I started the intensive and got into really like the mindset work, everything completely shifted. Um where I was able to work through so many of those limiting beliefs and even ones that I didn't even realize that I had, right? So the belting thing I knew was a thing, but there were other things that were popping up. The perfectionism also was a thing that I knew about. But there are other things that have popped up from like my childhood and just like different experiences that were causing me to be a person that was not going to meet those goals and meet those dreams. And so being able to work through that has really like helped completely done like a 180 for me and my voice and where um, I see my life going. So it's been such a game changer. And now I'm about to do things that like last year around this time I've been like, oh, that's probably not going to happen, you know. Um, and it's just very, very exciting.
Can you speak, like you said, able like to do things with my voice? So how has the shifts affected what happens when you stand on that stage? What are the biggest things that you've noticed, the biggest wins in that department?
The biggest wins for me, honestly, is having the confidence and trusting that my technique is there so I can focus like on the storytelling. And I mean, and I know we don't do this for like, at least I didn't do this for other people to please other people, but it was nice to also hear like my friends and like family that I've been singing with for years be like, oh my gosh, you sound so much more confident. You sound much more stable. You sound like your voice has completely changed. I literally was just on vacation last week and my friend was like, we were just doing karaoke and he was like, he looked at me and his mouth was completely open, just like in awe. He was like, I cannot believe that you sound like this right now. Like the confidence and like the presence that I feel like I'm able to just be myself and be confident in myself and know that I am enough. And that's been the biggest gift is knowing that what I bring to the table is enough and it will change whoever's lives it changes, right? But all I can control is me and what I bring to the table. And I am confident enough in that that I am worthy and I am enough. Um, and, you
And
know,
so
the
with
rest.
how does it feel? Like you said, I'm auditioning again.
Mhm. Oh, it feels great. I've had like three big auditions last year. I actually just had a choir audition. Actually, I get to tell everyone I just got into a choir. I found out the choir audition that I had from a couple weeks ago. I just found out that I got into it. So,
And this is that's a professional choir, right?
yes, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
like 2 weeks out the program, she's got her first professional gig. Is this Master Chorale in LA? No, what is it?
Angel City Chorale.
Okay. But you
Yeah.
guys, like, as a way where we start to build these things, we build the confidence, we build the income. She's got now income from her singing as she now auditions for more musical theater roles, equity roles, things to do. It's just like one step at a time, 1 yard down the field, and before you know it, you're in the end zone. So I'm curious, were there any did you have, well, I think you did because it's why you came to the workshop, but I forget what it was. Were there any hesitations that you had towards working with us in the program before you joined?
Yeah. So the two biggest things for me were one, it wasn't in person.
And
Um,
that's we hear that
which
all the time. Yeah.
which was like, I mean, and I don't know why I thought that I don't know why it was such a big deal for me, like in the beginning, because all of my cello lessons are virtual and they have been since the pandemic. So I don't know why I thought it was like, it felt like a foreign concept to me. But also like the group sessions scared me, like being like singing in a group. Um, and I remember like when I first started before the studio classes, I met with Judy, and Judy was like, well, what if you just raise your hand and do it? Right? And I committed to Judy on that call, on that mindset coaching call, that I was going to volunteer and go. And it was those were like the two big things for me. But, I can't imagine it happening any other way. Like you get to be with but like other singers from different walks of life and different places across like across the world, honestly. And it's and not only just having like your individual coaching, but also watching other people and being able to learn from other people was extremely valuable because there are things that, I wouldn't have thought to have asked, or someone else may have never thought to have asked. And having that group environment was really great. Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, it's been such a pleasure watching you bloom and watching you just like come like we talk about like the bud and the like to just like you're not in the bud anymore. You're like, and I'm so excited to continue to work with you in Alliance and all of the yummy things that we're gonna do over the next year. But please thank Darlene for coming in on her Sunday and sharing her experience with us. Yes, like what Ashley just said, your confidence is just like off the charts now. You're just like a different person. And so, and I know that that's just like flowed into so many other aspects of your life. So, and I feel very grateful to have been a part of that. So I will see you soon. Thank you, Darlene. You guys, please give her applause in the chat. Um, yes, awesome. So here's the question that I have for you guys now, which is like, when is now the time to move the needle on your career? Because life is in session. It's always going to be in session. It's always going to be stuff with your day job, health scares, financial stuff with your kids, or, the holidays like it was. Like, it's always going to be something. So when is now the time to go all in and bring forth all you are capable of? So people see you, connect with you, are impacted by you in ways that you've never been able to achieve before in your career. There's always a way for the committed, and there's always an excuse for those who are not. Sorry, not sorry, okay? Like, that's just me, just from 25 years of working with singers and saving careers and everything. There's always a way for the committed, and there's always an excuse for those who are not. And so there's two different roads you can take. One road I think can feel more like a lonely path. It's certainly more challenging and more time consuming in the long run. And it's try to solve all these issues on your own. And truly, guys, I'm not the kind of person who's going to sit here and tell you that it's impossible to solve these issues on your own. I'd be a total hypocrite because that's basically what I did. I spent 10 years in all kinds of different modalities, literally throwing spaghetti on the wall and getting a lot of bad information and paying for training that didn't address the real problems and experimenting with loads of things. So many of them which didn't work or didn't help or led me to a dead end. And I did this for years, finding out all the things that don't work. And I spent a ton of time and invested a ton of money. I mean, easily, guys, over $50,000 in mistakes and training that didn't work. So you can definitely do this on your own, but it's really costly. And not just money, but the time it takes to figure all this out on your own when you're not the expert. But fixing these issues with your voice and your impact and how it's affecting your career is just sort of like, if you can think of it like going on a cross-country journey, like a cross-country trip, with a map that tells you how to get from point A to point B, that literally tells you how to avoid the wrong turns and tells you how to get to your final destination exactly. And so your odds of reaching it are significantly more likely if you actually have a map or a guide that shows you how to get there. But even better, if you have like the super hot GPS that literally tells you if you go off track, like when you take a wrong turn, that dings and is like renavigating, right? Like, and brings you back to the correct path. So you can either do it without a map, without a GPS, and try to figure it out as you go, or you can get that GPS that will keep you on the right path, hold your hand, mirror back to you all the ways that you'd otherwise get in your own way. And you can work with a team who literally geeks out on this stuff and has collectively over 100 years of expertise. Like, even if it seems like your blocks and your patterns feel really murky or insurmountable, or even if you've worked with some of the best singing coaches in the world, you've been at Juilliard, you've been at Berklee School of Music, and you're thinking, I've been with the best and I'm still not where I want to be yet. And even if you feel really overwhelmed, I've done this, guys, hundreds of times with hundreds of singers. you heard Leslie and Sachin and Amy and Darlene, and this is what my team and I, Judy and me and Annie, this is what we love to do and what we are the best in the world at. Like, as you guys get to know me, you'll know that I don't play the false humility game. When I say we are the best in the world at this, we are the best in the world at this. Helping singers get out of their own way, link mind and body to create the most rock solid foundation for the biggest impact so you can go out there and kill it in your career. It is the most important thing that you can learn because everything else comes out of your ability to do that. And there's no point in continuing to spend any more time or energy on money on things like studio time, amazing producers, amazing marketing strategies, if what you're recording, what you're marketing, i.e., your performance, is not making the impact that it needs on your listeners the way it needs to. And so freeing 100% of your potential and learning how to sing in a way that is the most true to you, that makes a visceral impact on your audience and is so healthfully produced that you can sing 7 shows a week without issue. Those are the most valuable things that you can learn because everything else that you will do in your career hinges on your ability to do that. And if you want our support and you want to work with us in the intensive training program to achieve that, then your next step is to schedule that discovery call with me. And we will talk this out and make sure that this is the right fit for you. Ashley will put the link in the chat. I know some of you already have calls on my calendar. Yay, I'm excited to talk with you. If you do not, guys, this is the time. This is our flagship 16-week training program that I've developed to train singers holistically, 360, technique, artistry, mindset. And we do that with technique accelerator trainings for full command of your technique so that you have the most consistent, reliable, healthy foundation to produce your sound. We have mind-body integration modules where we deep dive into your unique patterns of thinking, just how we were talking about today, to shift how all these things are affecting your body and your impact when you sing. We have individual weekly coaching, so it's one-on-one coaching in the context of a group to make sure that you're embodying all this new skill set and mindset and artistry in the most effective way in the moment of singing. And we do group mindset call once a week. It's like topic focused, really supporting the mindset necessary for growth. You have your one-on-ones, accountability mentorship with Judy to help you break those boundaries that have been stopping you from getting the results you want. You have our community, you have our safe space to go beyond your comfort zone and also be with like-minded artists where you can learn and take action and grow together to achieve your goals. And so if despite your best efforts, you're still not where you want to be with your singing, this is for you. This is for you if you really are dying to sing in a way that is more reliable, consistent, and powerful. You need your body to work for you instead of against you. And this is for you if you have invested in a lot of vocal training in the past that has not gotten you the results or the opportunities that you want. And you're tired of watching other singers up there on that stage when you know it should be you. And you need to learn how to sing without tension, without strain, without vocal fatigue, in a way that you feel confident because you know you can rely on your voice. I can't tell you how many times I've spoken to singers who are terrified to put themselves out there for the audition, not because they can't nail the audition, but because the way that they produce their sound is so much tension, so much strain, that they're terrified to actually get cast for the thing or to get picked for the gig, because if they needed to do 6 shows a week, they couldn't do it. Like what Sachin was talking about the other day. After that kind of show, he would have to not sing for like 3 days, right? And then they're not even putting themselves out there for that stuff because they're so terrified of, oh my God, if I got this, I couldn't even sustain it. So you need to have these things in your technique that you can rely on so that your mindset is set in a place that you can go out there and do what you need to do. Tap into your unique voice. Be able to find your sound, what you have that nobody else does. And more than anything, know that you can go out there no matter what, anyone, anywhere, anytime, and bring it because now you're bulletproof. You're unstoppable. And speaking of unstoppable singers, oh my gosh, I almost forgot. We have a scholarship to announce. Okay, so as you know, I'm offering a huge $4,000 scholarship That's over half the tuition. And you were all so deserving. Every single one of you who applied. I want you to know that I watched every single video, that I see you. You are all so incredibly dedicated, incredibly deserving. I literally could not decide. I did not want to decide. I do not want to decide. So I am doing this thing. I put all the names in a hat. Like, you can, all the names are in a hat on a piece of paper. And I'm just literally gonna pick the name out of the hat, okay? So here we go. All right, who's in the hat? Oh my God, this is so perfect. Jelana. Jelana, who was coaching today? Jelana Laufer, are you here still in our meeting? You are. Congratulations. All right, so Ashley, make sure you get Jelana's email information in the chat. And Jelana, we will be reaching out. Congratulations. I'll be reaching out to have an onboarding call with you. But now listen, you guys, I know how much this meant to a lot of you. And for all of you who applied, your next step is to get on my calendar for a call. Okay, we're going to talk this out. We're going to figure out a situation, a payment plan. We're going to figure it out. There's always a way for the committed. Because look, guys, I get that being an artist is not always easy. And I get that investing 7K in your training might be the biggest investment that some of you have ever made in yourself. Okay. For others, you already spend way more than that on eating out and vacations and shopping in the course of a year. So you feel like you're doing well, like you're thriving, when really you're not succeeding at your passion or your potential in the way that you want. Because what we're talking about here is teaching you how to unleash 100% of your potential, trust your voice, claim your impact, audition, perform, record with power, showing you how to own your voice and own the stage to get those equity gigs, legit management, hundreds of thousands of plays for your songs, booking representation, opening tour slots, film and TV licensing for your music. Like, these are the things that put you on big stages. These are the things that pay an average of 7, 8K a month to start. But it's more than that, guys. It's a life doing what you love at the highest level. And it's a whole lot better than watching your dream fade into the rearview mirror more and more every day, because you can't land those big opportunities you want, and you don't know how to get out of your own way to do that. And so we're going to show you how. And guys, this is way less than a semester at Berkeley or Juilliard. That's 4 years of your time. It's $30,000 a semester, $120,000 for the degree. And they don't teach this. Trust me. I have 2 very fancy conservatory degrees in vocal performance, and they don't teach this. And I don't know about you, but if I'm going to spend my hard-earned money, I'm going to invest it in the thing that is going to make the biggest difference, that gets me the best result in the shortest amount of time, because in the long run, that saves me money. And let me tell you, I have done it the other way. I have been penny wise and pound foolish. Like, in my early recording career, the producer that I really wanted to work with was $10,000. And I knew that he was it. I knew he got my vision. Everything about his work was so aligned, but I was in scarcity mindset. And I went with the more reasonable option, and I hired a producer who would do the whole project for 5K. And it just missed the mark. Like, it just wasn't good, and it wasn't what I wanted. And after 6 months and so many versions of the songs, it just wasn't working. And so I went back and I hired my first choice. Only now I'd spent $15,000 total, way more than if I'd just gotten resourceful to work with the best and the one who I wanted to work with from the start, instead of being in my scarcity and in my fear. And P.S., I sold 10,000 records working with that great producer, so I made it all back and then some. I mean, this was back in like the early aughts when people actually bought records. But I mean, you guys, think about it. If you continue to spend money on traditional training, on traditional voice lessons, it feels like less money to your brain, because it's like, oh, only $100 a week or $200 a week. But think about it. How long have some of you been with your teachers? 2 years? 3 years? You've spent 9K already, but you're still not breaking through. And that's costing you way more than the discounted 7K investment in the intensive training program, because now you've lost 2 years. And that loss of time is way more expensive. How many opportunities did you miss? Or not put yourself out there for? Or couldn't land because you weren't singing in a way that could get you there in the last 2 years? How much money have you lost? Because those gigs, those opportunities, those shows were going to singers who were able to land them. The money you are not making if you want to do this professionally is also a cost to you the more time that goes by. And guys, I know it can be scary to invest in yourself and to commit to a new way of training because you're thinking, will it work for me? And here's what I can say. I don't know. I know it works. I see it working every single day with the singers who come through our program, with the singers who show up, play full out, give 110%. Yeah, it works. But I don't know you. I know that the program and the method works, but what I don't know is you. Are you going to show up, play full out, give 110%, be committed, be coachable, be resourceful? Only you know you. But when you show up that way, then yeah, it'll work for you too, in the same way it worked for Darlene and for Sachin and for Amy. Because think of the consequences of not changing things up. More birthdays? You want more birthdays celebrated with like that hesitation that, oh my God, like it's another year that's passed. And I still have to rely on my crappy side jobs because my singing gigs just don't pay enough. Or that awful self-doubt of going through yet another audition season or releasing another EP to disappointing results. And that dread of like, going to another Thanksgiving dinner or another dinner party with your friends or your family and being asked, hey, how's the music going? And that like immediate pang of failure when there's literally nothing new or impressive on the horizon to speak to. And it's heartache of having to watch other singers at the same level get the big gigs and wondering, will it ever be my turn? When will it be my turn as you watch the clock tick another week, another month, another year, another decade? And all of this, we just turned a new year, right? Another New Year resolution vowing this year will be different. This year I will finally break through. How many more New Year's resolutions do you want to spend like that? And I know what you're thinking. I know you're thinking, Arden, if I had the investment, I would totally do it. You can't get blood from a stone. And I appreciate you. I really, really do. And there's always a way for the committed. If you are sick and tired of struggling, get resourceful. Amy did it. Darlene did it. Most of the singers who come in to do this work have done it. You can do a GoFundMe campaign. Our singers do really well doing Kickstarter, GoFundMe. Or if you have somebody in your life who believes in you, who has said, I will invest in you, could be family member, could be somebody in your church community, a colleague, I don't know, right? Who could gift you or loan you the money that you need to get the help you need to have the life you want. Also, look in your closet, your attic, your garage. What could you sell on Craigslist or eBay? Gifts people gave you, old appliances that you don't use, jewelry you don't wear. What could you sell on Craigslist or eBay? Put towards the tuition to change your life. Who will invest in you? Like I said, you could get a 0% interest credit card. We talked about that the other day. You can get personal financing. We have third-party funding partners. We have flexible payment plans. $18.97 a month for 4 months, right? And so your next step is to go to this link and see what option of payment works for you. Ash, will you put the intensive page link on in the chat? Go to that link, read about the program, and see what payment plan or financing options works for you, okay? Or if you're on the fence, you have some lingering questions, whether it's on an alternative way to parse out the tuition, whether it's timing questions to make sure that this program is right for you, book a call with me and we'll decide together if this is the best fit for you to reach your specific singing goals and a path forward if it is. And as you know, the enrollment bonuses, they end tomorrow night. So again, the biggest bonus is the $2,000 tuition discount. As you know, this is normally a $9,000 training program. So we're giving you $2,000 off the normal tuition to everyone from the workshop who enrolls by tomorrow night or gets on my call calendar. Tuition is $18.97 a month or $7K pay in full. Second bonus is an audition self-tape critique. This is super important for those of you who do a lot of auditions. We want to make sure you're not inadvertently doing things in your self-tapes that are taking you out. The third bonus is an audit of your artist website or EPK to make sure that you're presenting the right things in the right way. And the fourth bonus is 2 one-on-ones with me during your program for the first 3 singers who opt for the pay in full, so for the 7K option. So look, guys, I'm just going to call it tight. You have an opportunity here to change the trajectory of 2025 in your career. And this is where I'm just going to get on my soapbox, okay? The choices that you make and the actions that you take right now are either going to set you up for success in 2025 or ensure the same frustrations and the same disappointments continue on from last year. And make no mistake, guys, the issues you're experiencing, they don't magically take care of themselves. They only compound on each other and get worse over time. And I know many of you are already experiencing that. And so where do you want to be a year from now? What's your target? If you're not thinking about that and making those decisions, somebody else is passing you by. Life is passing you by. You're here because you have talent, but lots of people have talent. What I know you need, and that's why I've created the intensive program, is technique, mindset, community, and accountability on a regular basis. And so I want you to take a look at where you are right now. And you've all heard it said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So ask yourself, what do I need to change? And who can help me make that change so I can change it now? Number one, you have to set the target. Number two, you have to decide. Decide means I'm in. Not I'm in on Arden's program. No, I'm in on the dream that I have. I'm in on the life that I want to create. I'm in, period. Not when it's convenient, not when I can afford it, not maybe in 2 months after this. It's when you decide you are in. And guys, it's never convenient. It's got to be about your dream, and you're going to have to fight for it. Find the time, find the money. I was listening to this podcast before the holidays, and I was talking to some of the singers in our program about it. And the guy was talking about success. And he said, you've got to hold the vision, and then the universe comes in and tests you and kicks you in the butt. And it does this over and over again. But all of a sudden, if you stand tall, and then it's like, oh, they really mean that they're fighting for this. They really mean it. Then the universe goes on to test somebody else. And so you've heard me say, you teach the universe how to treat you. It's the same thing. So how committed are you to living your potential and succeeding at an elite level? And how fast do you want that? Do you want it in 10 years? Do you want to struggle? Do you want it in 5 years? Do you want it in 1 year? Once you decide you're all in, only then can you find a vehicle and a pathway to make it happen, for the time, for the money, whatever it is. Until that decision, it doesn't happen. And so if you've been hustling with your singing career for 6 months, 2 years, 10 years, if you're not landing the opportunities or making at least $2,000 to $5,000 a month with your singing, you are missing something. Let us help you fix that. Let's find out what it is, what you're missing, and let's dial it in and let's kick some ass and get you where you want to go. Honestly, it's not a lot more complicated than that. But the question is, are you better off with us or on your own? Think about it. With somebody that's been successful, knows how to get you out of your own way, or I think I can reverse engineer this on my own. Maybe, maybe not. Surrounding yourself with experts who are supporting you, a kick-ass community who's going somewhere, or winging it on your own. Which one would work better? When you go into your human, you know what I mean. When you go into your human and you go to the stupid, you know what I mean, right? Are you better off alone or having coaches and accountability partners every step of the way? It just is what it is, guys. I told you I was going to hardcore you today, and I'm sticking to that. I've seen this for myself. If I'm working my own transformation and I'm working with a coach and accountability partners, when I'm doing that, I don't miss. I don't cheat. If I'm not, I start to slip that quick. And I eat my own cooking here, guys. Like, I have my own my own mentors and my own people, because I know it's really hard to do it alone, guys. And I'm hyper motivated. We see the amazing potential in every one of you. We see what is possible in you, guys, because we know you can do it. We've spent so much time supporting hundreds of singers just like you, some of whom you've heard from this week, to break through. It is what we love to do. It is what we are the best in the world at. We will fight for you. I will fight for you. But I can't want your dream for you more than you do. So if you're all in on your dream, you know you need help and you are seriously considering the program, but you have questions, I've set aside time for you after this call, also throughout this week, for that short discovery call. Make sure the program is a good fit. Let's talk it out. And again, this is not a coaching call. This is not for you to get on and ask me about your breath support, okay? This is like a short call just to make sure that what I've gone over for the program is a fit for you and to move forward into the program to meet your goals. So again, Ashley's going to put the discovery call link in the chat. So I am going to stay on here for a few minutes now for those of you who would like to learn more about our third-party financing and our other tuition resources. I'm going to walk you through that. For those of you who have all the information that you need, you are free to pop off. We have one more final training session tomorrow. It's our Q&A. It's our Ask Me Anything. This is your opportunity to get clarity on anything and everything that we trained on this week, whether it's a technique thing that you've noticed as you were practicing, whether it's a mindset thing that you wanted some support on. This is your time. I am at your disposal. To be sure that I get to your question, go into the Facebook group and put your question in the thread that says Q&As for tomorrow. And I will see you guys there. And for those of you who want to stay on to learn more about our third-party financing and other tuition resources, I'm going to stay on and walk you through that now. All right? Okay. Thank you, guys. Okay. So let me just adjust my screen here really quickly. All right. So I'm going to share my screen just to kind of talk you guys through this. And I'm going to also give you a link to a document that has everything that I'm talking about. Okay. So first off, like our usual payment plans, our usual payment options, it's what is on the website, the link that Ashley's been putting in the chat. And this is 4 payments of $18.97. There's no interest associated, or 1 payment of $7K, or PayPal financing. Now, for those of you who want to apply for the PayPal financing, if you click the link, a page will open up and you will put in your information and you are going to select Pay Later, and it's going to walk you through a series of questions to find out, if you qualify, right? They're not going to do a hard credit check, so it's not a hard pull on your credit. It will not affect your credit score, but you will see what you can qualify for, okay? And that is sort of our most common financing. However, we do have other third-party financing partners that we have used over the years to support our singers. And so let me share this with you guys. Okay, so this is a link to a document that has, I'm going to put in the chat. Oops. Okay, so these are our, oh, sorry, I accidentally DM'd it to Daniel. Hang on, let me do this again. Copy to everyone in the meeting. Okay, there we go. So these are our third-party funding partners. When you go to this link, what you're going to see is this. So first of all, we've talked about 0% interest credit cards. That's like amazing. So that I put on here just because you should all know about this. Like if you have a decent credit score, like in high 600s or above, and you don't have a whole lot of debt, this is an amazing option. So NerdWallet publishes the best 0% interest credit card options every month. And you can see they're amazing. I mean, 0% interest for 18 months. Are you kidding me? That's fantastic. This is even better. Wells Fargo, 0% interest for 21 months. That's free money for 21 months. So if you break down 7K over 21 months, what is that? Because let's do the math here. So 7,000 divided by 21. That's $333 a month, guys. That's a no-brainer. If you break that out over 21 months. Now, after the 21 months is up, it goes up, to a high interest rate, like a credit card interest rate. So you want to pay it off within the 21 months. But that's a no-brainer. So I strongly suggest if you guys need that kind of help, if you can qualify, these are great options, and you can go down and see which ones work better for you, depending on, they all have kind of different things some of them will allow you to do balance transfers. So, for example, you can transfer an existing balance for 60 days on this one from a card and still get the 0% interest. So they're all a little different. But that's the first thing that I wanted you guys to know, because that, to me, then you get the most discounted tuition. So you would, get the card, you would slap the 7K on the card, and then you have 21 months or 18 months or whatever to pay it off without any interest. So that's the first thing. Let me go back to the whoops, wait, I lost my sheet here. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Okay, let me share again. So the link with the third-party funding partners, again, takes you to this page. So NerdWallet is where I just was. These are all our other third-party funding partners that our singers have used. So for example, if we go to SoFi, are you guys seeing the SoFi site now? Do you see it? Can somebody give me a thumbs up? I just want to make sure
Yeah,
you can see.
we did.
Okay. So it acts like a personal loan, and it can be for any purpose. And you click find your rate, and it asks you, well, it will ask you to confirm that you're human. Okay. And then you put in your information. Again, it's not a hard pull on your credit, so it doesn't affect your credit score to see what you qualify for. It will ask you certain questions about, your financial situation, and then it will tell you what you qualify for. And so all of the, hang on, let me go back to where I just was. So all of the links that are on our third-party funding partners, they're all going to do the same thing. They're going to take you through just a simple 5-minute, qualification process, doesn't affect your credit score. And they will either tell you, yes, you want to input that you want to borrow 7K for the tuition. It's going to ask you what kind of purchase it is. You're going to put major purchase, like it'll say, is it for a car, or is it for healthcare, or is it for education? And one of them just says major purchase. You just want to click major purchase. And it will tell you if it approves you for 7K, then it'll say, yes, we can do whatever, 400 a month for 24 months at an 11% interest, or we can do 380 a month for 36 months for 18% interest. I mean, it's just going to tell you what you qualify for. It's going to give you the options, and then you can decide if you want to go through with it. It may also not qualify you. And just because one of them doesn't qualify you doesn't mean that the rest will decline you as well. If this is something that you really need for your future, for your voice, for your singing career, just go down the list and see. I mean, can't hurt. Like, it doesn't affect your credit score, so see what you qualify for. And you may not qualify for the first 8 of them, and then the next one you will qualify for. So they all use different metrics as to what they qualify. So just go down the list and see. If you're getting a lot of no's, don't stress. Just, keep seeing what's possible. They just investigate the options, and then you can let me know what works for you. So I wanted to give you that. So that is in the chat. Copy that document and give yourself the opportunity to see. But again, there's always ways to get creative. It might take you 6 months, but what's 6 months in the scheme of the rest of your life to be able to sing the way you need to have what you want? It might take you 2 years. That's okay. Again, what's 2 years in the scheme of your life when it comes to being able to do what you want? Now, I don't want it to take you 2 years, but if you have a goal, if you have a target, if you're saving, if these options, if you can't get funding, or if you can't get the credit card or whatever, maybe there's a side hustle, right? Maybe there's, you could drive Uber, or you could nanny or babysit or whatever. If you put an extra $250 a week away, that's an extra $1,000 a month. By July, you have the tuition. So just break it down, make a plan, stay accountable to it. And if you need our help, let me know. And I'm happy to suggest anything else that I can think of. So I just wanted to stay on here for a few minutes to give you guys that information. Javon, you had your hand raised did you have a question about this, or was that old? Okay, that was old. I just wanted to make sure. Okay. All right, guys. So listen, like I know that everybody wanted that scholarship. I wanted to give it to every single one of you. And that's why I was just like, I'm just gonna do this randomly because like every single one of you deserved it. But don't make it mean anything. Don't make it mean, oh, I didn't get the scholarship, so that must mean that the universe doesn't think that this is for me. No. Your mind is making meaning to try to protect you. Don't make it mean anything. All it means is that no, I got to get resourceful because I'm going to fight for what I want. I'm going to fight for the life that I want and the help that I need to get there. All right, guys? So go enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you for being here. Come tomorrow. I want your questions. I want to help you. I want to clarify things that you need clarity on. So I will see you then. All right. Bye, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.